And I thought maybe we could begin with Keiken telling us a little bit about what you're working on at the moment, the games you're inventing.
Yeah, so I guess like we're currently working on this like XR series, primarily working a gaming engine, and we're looking at morphic angels. So we're imagining like what would the future be like in 500 years. So we've been looking at neuroscientists like Michael Levin, Donald Hoffman, and looking at how our understanding of science will completely change in the future, that it's very much going into much more of an immaterial understanding, learning what consciousness is, being able to reverse engineer consciousness, being able to use morphogenesis to be able to create transhumanism, and how that would be applied to the future. What would culture be like in the future? Would we be defined by our upgrades? So we're looking at really trying to imagine, kind of in many ways, like every aspect we can imagine. This has been very challenging and very painful to do. But through using these different XR technologies, so for example, being able to go inside a VR and become a non-human creature, and being able to play part of a series, or being able to play a game, or being able to watch a film, we're trying to really imagine how, in the future, the way that we perceive human beings is maybe we are like morphic angels, we are morphogenic angels. The way that we understand our consciousness will be much more multiplicit. The way that we understand humanity, our problems, our suffering may be different. So we're looking at how the evolution of humans will turn into angels, and then through that, okay, this is making maybe not sense to other people, but this makes complete sense to us.
Yeah. I was going to add also that with this series, I think it initially started out with like one narrative that we were working on, and then we realized that you just can't approach the future 500 years from now in one thing. You have to like, we just have so many different kind of narratives that we're beginning to develop, and it really makes sense for us to work with all these different new technologies and mediums that will allow us to have like different levels of interaction for the audience as well, so the audience will get to have more of an immersive experience. It won't just be like listening to our story or watching our film. They'll actually be able to, I guess, like simulate or embody a morphic angel as well.
And can you talk a little bit about the actual installation? Because you include lighting, you include props very often. It is really mixed reality, and in a way, it's both sort of virtual, but it's also very embodied, your installation. It would be interesting to hear more about that.
So the piece that we're showing is called Play as a Cosmic Realm, which is an immersive installation. And we have two pieces, one which is an interactive film, which is called The Life Game. And then there's also this piece called Better Bodies, where we've created our own technology, which is a haptic wearable womb, where we've inputted the data of different animals inside the womb. And this came from a performance that we did in 2017. So a lot of our works come through performance and being able to simulate experiences and actually role play what do people do in those situations. And so everybody in this performance, it was a durational performance for 3 days, and there was multiple people, and they all wore a silicone womb. And what we realized from this was that, one, the womb is genderless, and two, that it's people have very emotive and cathartic experiences, and they're very animistic with it, so they really cannot, they feel like they are simulating some form of pregnancy or something, some association. Something is coming from them because everyone came from the womb. So we've been really exploring this and then trying to then input like what happens if we input the data of something that people don't relate to very well, or things that they don't identify with easily. So what happens if we put the data of we put animals that could communicate through ultrasound, and we inputted the data inside the womb. So when people experience it, they can what's really amazing is that the sound travels inside the womb, but it becomes three-dimensional. So the silicone kind of traps the sound, so you actually feel you're understanding data from your stomach, and it feels like it's part of you, but you also feel sound in a three-dimensional way as if it's extended inside your body. So it's like people have crazy experiences in it, and it tends to be on the spectrum of either it's cathartic and emotional because they have some sort of association to this area that is maybe traumatic or something like that, or it activates their imagination, so they start having a lot of visualizations. Or the other one is that it becomes very meditative and it allows people to concentrate and just be in the present moment because they are feeling with their whole body.
Yeah, and I think also like it really is also a very innate reaction to it. I mean, people want to talk about it immediately once they've come out of the experience because it's such an unusual thing. But I think also like because we've used such a range of different animal noises, it also creates a very like a journey that you go through. It's this rhythm of different three-dimensional sounds, but some really feel very like pointed and very kind of aggressive, and others feel really, I don't know, like a big wave kind of traveling through your body. So it also, in the overall kind of exhibition of these two works, it's really, we're kind of imagining the future of gaming environments and how we can kind of create gaming environments or games themselves which can be more holistic and more cosmic in themselves.
Yeah. Because like when you think of something like a VR, a lot of technology is not only is it, you know, really obviously you're using like your limbic and reptilian brain for everything, it's constantly happening, but at the same time, like say if you go on the computer screen, it's constantly decision making, it's visuals, a lot of them are misleading symbols, whereas this really takes you back to like be inside yourself. And what we really recognize from creating a very an organic technology that is completely to do with something that's innate within human beings and all different beings, the technology that we were creating and how it's programmed is completely different to the way, and the logic to it is completely different to the way the VR or corporate technologies are often created, and that you realize actually how vastly different they are. Like we're approaching it a very different way, and you realize actually how stern these technologies are, how disconnected to embodiment, how defeminized they are, how inorganic they are, and humans need to feel their, they need that to making sure that when they are thinking of future gaming environments, that they think of their consciousness being transported into another realm, and that is something that is very spiritual, and we're trying to really like, reposition those things.